Thank you all for making the time to join us on today's webinar. My name is Natalie Taylor and I'm a content marketing writer here at Feedvisor. I'm joined by our Senior Manager of Brands and Retailers, Chris Soro, a seasoned Amazon expert with a proven track record in the tech and finance industries. Before we get started, I want to remind everyone that we will be sending out a link to today's recording and there will be time for a Q&A at the end of the presentation. So if you have questions throughout, please enter them into the space provided and we'll do our best to get to all of them. According to Feedvisor data, 50% of Amazon sellers utilize Fulfillment by Amazon, or FBA, as their primary fulfillment method. This isn't surprising considering the countless benefits that the program provides, but FBA can be deceiving when it comes to profitability, and private label sellers in particular have to be strategic when it comes to managing inventory, enhancing your brand experience, and maintaining competitive price points. Today, Chris will be outlining the numerous benefits of FBA, as well as providing strategies to increase your sales, preserve your brand value, and reduce costs, all which will help you to maximize the profitability of your Amazon business. On that note, Chris, I'll let you take it from here.
Thanks, Natalie, for that introduction. So, again, my name is Chris Soro. I'm the Senior Manager of Brands and Retailers here at Feedvisor. So I work each and every day with third-party sellers, private label sellers, and medium to large size brands to optimize their business on Amazon. One of the big things I've been working on over the last year with brands is the big question of moving from 1P or a vendor central presence to a 3P seller central presence. We want to take a step back today and really just start high level with some of the benefits of FBA. And then we'll dig into some of the finer details. So I don't have to sell this too much, but the benefits of FBA. First, we want to leverage Amazon's massive advanced fulfillment network, right? So for smaller brands starting off, if you have a smaller staff, limited warehouse capacity, utilize Amazon's fulfillment network, their A to Z guarantee. All you have to do is get your product or your merchandise in the door in your own facility, process it based on Amazon standards, so packaging, barcodes, and get it out to a fulfillment center. So another big advantage is Prime eligibility, right, which really helps with trustworthiness of Amazon in general. One of the biggest advantages, I think, is Amazon handles customer service and returns. So they're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Through that A to Z guarantee, they're going to handle all of the customer service and returns for you. And it really, Amazon and Fulfilled by Amazon imparts trust and credibility to customers. So utilizing Amazon's brand presence, honestly, a lot of consumers don't realize that they're buying from a third party or a brand. They think they're buying directly from Amazon, which I always find is a pretty interesting stat. So, okay. Whoa. Hold on. Sorry, we are skipped ahead a couple of slides. I apologize for that. Okay. And I think I gave away the answer already, but if we had to guess, how many US Prime members were there in 2019? So if you could go ahead and select an answer there. All right, so 17 of you are either really knew the answer or were paying attention as I skip forward in that slide, but yes, there are 105 million US households, 105 million Prime members in 2019. So this chart shows considerable growth. And that's 105 million Prime members that are typically just searching for Prime products. So 83% of Prime members cite the free 2-day shipping as the most compelling benefit of Prime membership. So people demand their goods within 2 days, and it's starting to become standard across e-commerce in general here. So next thing, profitability is one thing, but we need sales in order to have profit, right? So we want to talk a little bit about increasing your FBA sales. So I'm going to be talking about increasing visibility on your listing, improve customer reviews and feedback, maintain a high replenishment rate, and understanding your indirect competition. So increasing visibility on your listing. One of the quickest and easiest ways to do that is just through coupons. So coupons are going to get you on the deals page. It's typically a low $100 minimum budget. So you can do $1 off 100 products and then it'll end. But it's a good way to get on the deals page, get in front of cost-conscious consumers, and allow yourself to increase some visibility. Advertising is one of the biggest advantages to increasing visibility on your listing. We could probably spend an hour at least doing a webinar on advertising alone, but it's really going to help separate yourself from the competition. 3 main ways of advertising. So one being sponsored products, the second being display ads, and the third is what's called product attribute targeting. So sponsored products is going to work off an auto or a manual campaign within Amazon, and then being able to select and bid on keywords. Display or banner ads are more brand specific. And product attribute targeting within advertising allows you to select a product similar to yours, right? So if you're selling a product for $19.99, you could select and show that ad for products that are $22 to $25 with 3 or 4 stars. And anytime someone searches for that product, your ad will display and your product will display next to it. So using kind of enticing price point, or if your product has more stars or reviews, displaying it next to them. So that's product attribute targeting. And again, advertising is just a massive component of Amazon now. We could spend a lot more time on it, but I just want to touch on it from a high level. The next is lightning deals. So lightning deals help create a ton of visibility for listings and products. It's a time-bound promotion, usually 4 to 12 hours. Sometimes it can be 7 days, but essentially Amazon selects your products that are eligible for a lightning deal. You would enroll in it. And in order to be eligible for it, you typically need about 5 feedback ratings per month on the product. It's got to be at least 3.5 stars. And as they pick the product for you, Amazon wants to see sales history. They want to make sure and see if the product is sold because they want to try to move through that. One of the big things is they charge you $150 to do it. And it's typically at a 20 to 45% discount. So a lot of sellers are concerned with that, and they say, how can I make money offering a 20 to 45% discount on my product? One of the big things to understand with lightning deals is you offer it for a certain period of time, typically 4 to 12 hours. You offer a number of units. Amazon will tell you the number of units that are eligible. Let's just say it's 100. So yes, you're offering a steep discount on 100 products, but what's really taking place is you are generating lots of traffic in a short period of time to that listing, which will then increase and improve your sales rank greatly. And once hopefully you sell through those 100 units, you have a good redemption rate on the lightning deal, your sales rank is going to actually jump through the roof. You're going to improve your organic search results, your page rank. You can raise your price back up, and you should see some really, really good traffic on a highly subscribed lightning deal for a couple of weeks after, right? So while you may lose a little bit of money or break even on those 100 units that you offer, the real goal of the lightning deal is to increase your sales rank, improve visibility, improve your page rank, and then make that money back on the organic traffic that's going to continue to come to your page. Another great way to increase visibility on your listing is through A+ pages. So A+ pages are specific to brand registry or brands, private label sellers who own their brand trademark. And they really just allow you to create the look and feel of your brand on Amazon. So I mentioned before that a lot of consumers think they're buying directly from Amazon, maybe not necessarily from your brand. And that's what's kept a lot of brands away from Amazon. However, over the last 1 to 2 years, Amazon's done a really good job of improving through the brand registry process, the ability to replicate your brand presence within Amazon. So we'll talk about brand registry in a little bit, but A+ pages are a great way to do it, and they provide some additional content, copy, images, and video options. So through all of these, launching a product, increasing the sales rank, increasing visibility, getting your product listed on different areas of Amazon's deals pages through coupons and lightning deals is a really great way to increase visibility on your listing. So another aspect we want to look at too is we want to improve reviews and feedback. The beginning stages and the beginning launch of a product on Amazon, reviews, feedback are where it's at. That's really what you're looking for. To start it, I would definitely recommend leveraging a feedback software. Feedback 5, Feedback Genius are two that I recommend to my clients. And essentially what they'll do is, for anyone who purchases your product, they will send them an email at a time of your choosing, whether it's 3 days or 10 days later, and just solicit a review in a nice, pleasant way. You're not offering any promotions or any free product, right? Which Amazon has banned those actions, but just asking for a review. And typically you would see about between 70 and it can vary, but 50 to 70 products being consumed will lead to one review. It also depends on the type of product you're selling too, but you can see that this second bullet point is the goal of get to 7 to 15 reviews to successfully launch a product can be pretty daunting, right? So if you got to sell 30, 50, or 70 products to get one review, it can be hard to get to that 7 to 15. So that's really the goal. That's the tipping point, getting to 7 to 15 reviews to successfully launch a product. We find really helps to get you kind of put in Amazon's algorithm, improve your sales rank, your visibility. And it is definitely the goal that you want to get to and try to do it as quick as possible within Amazon's guidelines. So you definitely want to review Amazon's review guidelines as they've changed and got more strict. But one of their responses to what people used to do is give away free product to solicit a review. Amazon has banned that, but they started what's called the Amazon Vine and Early Reviewer Program. So this program is a group of invited Amazon reviewers. They provide honest, unbiased reviews. They're selected by their review helpfulness by past reviews. And they do receive free product, right? So you would provide them with free product from that you'd want them to review, and they leave an honest review, which is great, but it does mean that review may not always be positive. So it's something that you got to keep an eye on. You want to make sure and feel pretty confident about your product. But one of the great things you can do is, as a brand or private label product seller, you can pre-enroll a product prior to product release. You can get these early reviewers through this program to review the product and essentially kind of have that review ready to go as your product is being launched. So really good program. I believe it used to be a pilot invite only program for brands, and I believe it's now opened up to all brands. So, and the fourth bullet point here is appeal negative reviews. So a lot of sellers, brands through Seller Central don't appeal enough negative reviews, or they don't know that they can do it. So it's a pretty simple process within Amazon. You open up a case, you open up an appeal case, and you can get a lot of these negative reviews overturned or removed, which will always help. So the better your reviews and rankings, it's always going to help if you're competing for the buy box as a third-party seller, or if you are a private label seller or brand who owns 100% of the buy box to improve your sales rank. Definitely helps trustworthiness, and as I said before, buy box share or search rank is really important. Next, one of the biggest mistakes I see for early brands or private label sellers who are just starting off on Amazon is not having a good control over their inventory. So we want to maintain a high replenishment rate. So it's probably one of the biggest issues I see is you spend money on a lightning deal or advertising. You have some coupon redemptions. You get your reviews. You're running a sponsored products or a product attribute targeting advertising campaign. So you're investing dollars into this product launch, and then you sell 100 or 200 units, and then you're out of stock. So in the middle of this page, right, we get this dreaded currently unavailable. We don't know when or if this item will be back in stock. So if that's FBA, that means there's no inbound quantity. If it's FBM, you're just stocked out. A lot of products are made in China, like not understanding your supply chain or your lead time, especially with everything that's going on today. So what'll happen is, right, you're out of stock, you're off the listing, your product's no longer searchable. Your sales rank is going to reduce drastically when out of stock. So this particular item that we're looking at, you can see the banner on the below. This is the last 7 days. So previously we had 402 ordered items. The product went out of stock, 0 sales. And we can see through the Feedvisor software that the average sales rank has decreased 75%. And that's just going to continue to do the same. So when it's back in stock, you got to kind of go through that process all over again. So maintaining a high replenishment rate is extremely important. And especially if you're a private label seller or a brand who doesn't allow anyone else on the listing, right? If you're a big brand, it may be beneficial to have a few other wholesalers or third-party sellers to be able to sell your product so that if you do go out of stock, they will essentially backfill, right? They'll be on the listing, they'll be active, and that will lead to the product and the listing page to maintain a lot of these improved data points. Okay, next slide here. So one of the other things I see sellers do is they come up with a product and they kind of reverse engineer their profitability. They look at their costs, they look at what they need to make payroll or overhead, and that's what they charge for the product. So really you got to do a lot of research on Amazon. If you're launching an Amazon specific product, a private label product that you only intend to sell on Amazon, or if you're a brand and you have products, maybe you don't offer your entire product catalog, but doing a lot of research around which products you should offer on Amazon or shouldn't. And Amazon provides some good information to start looking at this. So for me, I have a client who is selling a 4-pack of like little kids ice packets, right? So if you go on that listing, they're selling it for $16.99 for a 4-pack. If you scroll down to the bottom of the listing a little bit, to that product attribute targeting that I discussed before, and through other sponsored products, these are other sellers and other products that are competing against my listing, right? So we can see there's a single unit offered for $4.49. There's a 4-pack towards the middle, the 4 teddy bears, similar product offered for $16.99 for a 4-pack. So we can kind of see the price points. And what I've found and through research and talking to sellers and understanding Amazon is Amazon typically wants 3 price points for every product on Amazon, right? They want a low price point. So for cost conscious consumers, a middle price point and then a premium price point. So if you're a private label seller that's looking to get into the market, right, if we're looking here, we want to understand where our product holds up to the competition, as well as how many reviews or stars they have and how much feedback they have, right? So if we're trying to sell something for $16.99, we just launched it, we see that's kind of the high end for this type of product. We got to understand, do we want to come down in price? Do we want to advertise, right? Get our reviews and feedback up so that we can then compete with them. So understanding what we call your indirect competition. So if you own 100% of the buy box, understanding this indirect competition is really helpful. Okay. What percentage of product searches are done directly on Amazon? Just give it another minute here to tally the results. All right, 66%, that is correct. So I'm gonna go back here. So 66%, that is correct. So a good portion, about a third of you got that correct. So Feedvisor did a survey of over 2,000 shoppers, found that along with 66% of people starting their product search on Amazon, 82% of users use Amazon to check price before making a purchase. So if they find it on a competing marketplace or somewhere else, their 82% of users, consumers, are coming back to Amazon to see if Amazon offers it at a lower price. 72% of the survey will use Amazon to check for reviews. So if you are finding that a product somewhere else, you're coming back to Amazon to search for that, to look for the reviews, the feedback as well. So understanding that is extremely important. The other thing we want to talk about, since this is geared towards private label sellers and brands, but it's relative to everyone as well, is just understanding and preserving your brand value. So brand registry, what that is, we'll talk about it a little bit. Protecting your listing and maintaining your brand's image. So one sec here. So benefits of brand registry. It allows accurate brand representation. So that essentially means you're allowed to control the images, copy, video, your brand voice, gate other people from jumping on the listing, which protects your trademark from counterfeit sellers. We have proactive protection, right? Our second bullet point here is there's actually some automated software out there to scan listings for unauthorized sellers, but proactive protection allows you to prevent counterfeits. So preventing counterfeits on listings is a huge priority for Amazon. And the ability to own as the rights owner, to be able to protect your brand, protect your trademark, and to limit the other people that are selling it, especially if it's counterfeit. And then access to enhanced brand content. So brand registry is going to allow you to some additional options and dashboards to get your brand voice out there and to maintain your brand presence on Amazon. All right. Protecting your listing. This is something that's really important for Amazon, for brands, for private label sellers. Protecting your listing is, again, this is like advertising. This is something we could probably do an hour webinar on, but I wanted to touch base on just some of the high level topics. And so gating your brand by requiring third-party sellers to submit approval, right? So as the rights owner, you can and one of the things I didn't touch upon previously, but if you own a trademark, you can submit through brand registry, and that will allow you to essentially take control of your ASINs and your product detail page. With that comes the ability to gate your brand and your product by requiring sellers to submit approval, right? So they have to, sometimes they might need a purchase order, sometimes they might need a letter of approval from the brand stating that they're authorized to sell it. And it really gates your brand from those unauthorized sellers, counterfeiters, stopping unauthorized sellers at the door, essentially. So it's kind of like the bouncer, if you will, of the listing. A great way that Amazon has reacted to counterfeiters is through a new program they launched called Amazon Project Zero. So Project Zero is an automated protection that scans 5 billion listings a day. So what you do as a brand or rights owner, owning the trademark, you submit your logos, trademarks, and any key content to Amazon. They will import that into their machine learning algorithm. They'll scan 5 billion listings a day, and they will actually proactively kind of keep track of your brand presence. Another great aspect of it is what's called self-service removal, right? So what you would typically have to do is you sell a product, let's say it's selling for $19.99. You're maintaining, you have a minimum advertised price. You are trying to maintain price consistency across many different marketplaces. And then a counterfeiter hops on the listing, starts selling it for $9.99. They're degrading your brand value. They shouldn't be selling it. The product may not be what it's supposed to be, meaning counterfeit. You would typically have to report that seller to Amazon submitting a case, and then wait for Amazon to react. So now through Project Zero, you can actually self-service removals. So you can have more control and more access and getting those sellers removed quicker. There's also an aspect of Amazon Project Zero called product serialization. Essentially what it does, it's based on a serial number system. They're going to scan and confirm authenticity of every product that goes through FBA. So I believe it's free. It was a pilot program that they opened up, but definitely something to look into from a brand perspective. So protecting your listing, you just also want to make sure this third bullet point is like maintain control of listing content. So images, copy, the keywords that are on the listing to help organic search. Make sure it's in the right category, right? Sometimes people would mess with products and third-party sellers will submit category changes and do certain things to the back end of the listing. So through brand registry, you can maintain control of the listing, protect it, make sure all the images, copy, and everything abides by like what you're trying to put out there, have it match your different websites and things like that. So moving on to the next slide. So, and again, we're talking about all this and we talk about profitability, right? But keeping counterfeiters off, maintaining your brand image to help you maintain a higher price point, your brand equity, a lot of this does go into profitability, but it also helps sales as well, right? So I said earlier, in order to have profit, we need sales. So I've been focusing a lot on the sales aspect, but enhance your brand image through A+ pages. So that's going to allow you to create, again, the look and feel of your brand on Amazon. Here's an example of one on the right. Images, videos, and content. So again, if you're the rights owner and you have your brand registered, you have access to additional brand dashboards. And then the third piece here is what we call branded keywords. So through an advertising campaign, what we have found a lot is if you're a successful brand and other people could potentially be using your brand name as a keyword and bidding on it. So if someone organically searches for XYZ company, and if you're not keeping an eye on your branded keywords, a competitor could be bidding on XYZ and essentially be stealing organic traffic from you. So maintaining that brand image as well. We also sometimes call it a takeover campaign too, where if you're new on Amazon, you need to go ahead and sometimes pay up and outbid a lot of the competition to kind of retain control of your branded keywords so that you can start controlling those costs and then also taking advantage of that organic traffic. Again, another topic that could probably spend an hour on, but just wanted to touch on some key high-level points here. We're getting really close to the end here, and then we're going to open it up to Q&A. One of the other big points, right, as we talk about profitability and using Fulfilled by Amazon, long-term storage fees is something that's really big. Amazon used to assess the fee every 6 months, but about a year ago, they changed it to every 12 months. So what they did was they lessened the frequency of the fee, but they went ahead and increased the amount. So keeping an eye on your inventory health report and your inventory age, how long FBA products have been sitting in an Amazon fulfillment center, right? Amazon's a fulfillment center, not a warehouse, so they want to move products along. So avoiding long-term storage fees. Another thing is they can add up quickly are preparation charges. So who labels the product? Any type of bubble wrap packaging or labeling. If Amazon requires that based on the category or what type of product it is, it could be damaged in transit. They want bubble wrap or they want certain types of packaging. So doing that yourself, right? You can always pay Amazon to do it, but doing it yourself, buying things in bulk, if you have the operational ability with employees in a small warehouse. But preparation charges are something that can easily be avoided. Disposal fees. So if there's any like returned goods that were damaged and Amazon you can't sell them, they'll charge you a disposal fee. So one of two things, you can either pay them to get rid of the product and dispose of it, or you can pay them to send it back to you. So if you have the ability to take that product back, sell it on a different marketplace, sell it on eBay, which used items can be moved a little bit easier than on Amazon. And then lastly, any heavy items over 20 pounds, right? So you gotta be really careful. That FBA, that pick, pack, and ship fee over 20 pounds can get pretty excessive. So leading to that, it's not directly correlated to FBA, but if you are going to go ahead and fulfill something on your own, definitely shop around for shipping rates. And there's a lot of different softwares out there that will kind of price compare different shipping rates as well. And I believe that's it. So what I'll do is kind of open it up to questions here. I see there's a few questions. So I'll turn it over to Natalie real quick.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, before we get into the Q&A, just want to share the link here on our recent guide about optimizing your private label business. So you can download a free copy of the guide at the link here, and it includes steps to improve your product's organic and paid search rank, how to optimize your keywords, product listings, and other content to engage shoppers, and Amazon advertising strategies to promote your products, all of which, as we discussed today, will help you increase the profitability of your business. And before we get into the Q&A, we just have a quick poll that you should see on your screens now. As always, if you'd like to learn more about any of the ongoing initiatives we have here at Feedvisor, please connect with us. Okay, now let's get into some questions. Chris,
I'm happy to read these off, or Natalie, however you want to do it.
Yep, I got the first question here. Through the brand registry, how do you gate other sellers from jumping on your listing?
Gotcha. So there is, you'll notice, so the best way to see Obviously, if your product is brand registered, if a third-party seller goes on and goes to the add inventory or add catalog product, and they search your ASIN, they will see whether it's open, what is being accepted, meaning you can sell new, used like new. And then through there is also, you'll see if the product is gated, right? So say this product is no longer accepting third-party sellers, or you need approval to sell from this. So it's part of the brand registry. I would submit a case to find out where to do that. But it is through the brand registry dashboard and the brand registry kind of support center to reach out and get that activated.
Okay, next question we have. Does brand registry protect my listing from piggybackers? My brand is wholesale, so the piggybackers are selling authentic products.
Yeah, so this is a little tricky. Yes and no. So technically, anyone can sell a product on Amazon, right? Once it's been purchased once, it can be resold. There's some case law that goes back a while, and it's basically how eBay exists and Amazon and third-party marketplaces exist. What brand registry does, though, is it allows you to submit a rights violation to your trademark. So if someone is selling an inauthentic product or a counterfeit product, or they are degrading your trademark in any way, you can submit a rights infringement on them, and that would get them removed. However, and then what essentially will happen is Amazon will ask that third-party seller for a PO, so an invoice, right? So the wholesaler would potentially provide that PO. They're going to ask them for images, not like stock images, but actual images of the product that they took. And if that's the case, they're selling authentic goods, then it most likely will not get them kicked off. It'll get them kicked off temporarily, but they may be reinstated on it. So it's a little tricky because they have to be infringing on a trademark right. So if it's an authentic product, then they might be re-enlisted on it. Good question.
Okay, so sticking with the brand registry theme here, can competitors target my brand as a keyword if I'm brand registered?
Yep. Yes, absolutely. So if you're brand registered, right, they are essentially just have a sponsored products campaign. They set up a manual campaign and they use your brand name and bid on it, right? So that's typically where if someone is doing that against you, we would recommend what's called a takeover campaign. And we would want to bid up your brand and just let them know that they're now paying more for it, right? You want to take it over. It is, I won't get into the 2 brands or 3 brands that have done it, but large shoe companies. If you search for one, the competitors was showing up across all banner ads and on the sponsored product side. So there was like a little bit of a war going on between 2 to 3 of the large shoe brands. And that's what was going on. They were bidding on each other's keywords.
Okay, next question. When do you recommend using the FBA Small and Light?
So FBA Small and Light is actually a great program. They changed some of the rules around it recently, but I want to kind of answer that question in a different way and say, if I were a brand or a private label seller who was thinking of a product to create to sell on Amazon, I would be first trying to look at creating a brand or packaging that is within Amazon's Small and Light program, right? You're going to pay much less on FBA fees. That is the benefit to it. essentially some guidelines in small and light. The product has to weigh 10 ounces or less. It's got to be within certain dimensions, right? Smaller. And it's got to sell for $7 or less. It used to be $15, but they lowered that to $7, and it's got to be high selling. So the small and light program, assuming you have, you meet those criteria, which are, it's exactly what it says. It's small and light, but there's a significant discount on the FBA fee. And the other thing to note in small and light is it's not 2-day. It's 3 to 5 days that the consumer will receive the product.
Next question here. If I have 2 SKUs for one ASIN, one is FBM and one is FBA, if the FBA listing goes out of stock, would it decrease my sales rank?
No. So that's what we typically recommend, having 2 SKUs, one ASIN. And what you would do is what our pricing software does is it prioritizes the FBA. So let's say the FBA product's at $19.99, the FBM product will be at $22.99, essentially making it ineffective, prioritizing the FBA. And then if that FBA sells out, then the FBM will drop down to $19.99 or potentially a little below to backfill it and maintain that. So yes, that's definitely the strategy that we recommend. And the issue would be in stocking out would be if you were FBA and had no FBM, so your warehouse was empty. So like, your products were being manufactured, or they were, your lead time was longer than you thought because products were being made in China and something that's like it's taking place now. So, but yes, that is the correct setup.
Okay, and we have time for one more question. At what point should I start considering FBA? What would be a trigger to sell on FBA?
I think the biggest thing is weight, right? So if it's small, it's under 20 pounds, and you're trying to launch a new product to try to generate those reviews. One of the things I mentioned before through that survey, like there's 105 million Amazon Prime subscribers, and a lot of them just pre-filter for Prime products. So if you don't have FBM, or excuse me, if you don't have FBA, you're effectively missing out on 105 million consumers. So I think when you're launching a new product, when it's under 20 pounds, designing your packaging around being light and efficient, and that's on the private label brand side. If you are looking for something on the third-party seller side where you're going to compete against other sellers, if there's 10 people on the listing and 8 of them are FBM, 2 are FBA, and it's not hazmat and it's not chocolate that you can't sell in the summer, you're going to increase your chances of buy box percentage win rate by being FBA.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Chris. We really appreciate you joining us today.
I'm happy to help. I know this was rather short and a lot of high-level bullet points, but we look forward to answering any additional questions anyone has in the future.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you, everyone listening in. We will be sending out a link to the recording shortly. And like Chris said, if there were any questions that we didn't get to, we'll be sure to follow up with you. And with that, please feel free to reach out if you're interested in learning more. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.